Man, week 2 is the week of injuries and upsets. We have lots of injuries to go over, a lot of close games, a lot of upsets, and roster changes. And it's literally just week 3. But not only did the Broncos lose, but my fantasy team lost. And I will get into why that is, because I have opinions on that. But first off, we're going to go straight into Thursday night game with the Bills at Miami. So I had picked the Dolphins to win this game, but it was very close of a decision for me. I just thought that the Bills were a little bit too inconsistent, and the Dolphins being at home was going to make a difference. And then Tua got, his 1,000th concussion in the last 3 years. So that changed a lot. I honestly think that he's going to retire. I know they say, he's technically not going to, but it makes no sense for him to continue playing if he is literally an injury away from having to retire. It's like, why not just retire now rather than in hopes that you may or may not ever get injured again? This changes a lot of things, I think, related to the draft as well. It's like, are the Dolphins going to go after a big-name free agent? Or are they going to go QB in the draft? Somehow, go on a thin line and start Tua until he does get injured and then worry about that situation? It's a little bit too iffy of a subject, I feel like. Should he have gotten an extension? I think they should have went on a franchise tag before, re-signing him to a whatever 4 or 5 year deal. But we'll see how that plays out. Josh Allen didn't really play that great. Technically Tua played almost just as good as him outside of the 3 picks. But, James Cook literally took over this game, led the team, I believe. Oh, wow, he didn't. Oh, well, he got a catching touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, 78 yards, close to 100 yards total. Was a huge piece, for the Dolphins and most fantasy owners. Devon Achane, he did pretty good too, 96 yards. Also led the team in receiving, also got a receiving touchdown. But outside of that, it was mainly the Bills' defense shutting down the Dolphins and, putting this game away. But I feel like obviously, if Tua never even got hurt, the Dolphins still lose this game. The Bills were just on fire. Dolphins offense couldn't get anything started. Tyreek only had 3 catches for 24. Jalen Waddle had 41. Typically, they average almost 100 yards per game, and yet both of them are here with 65 total yards combined. But huge loss for the Dolphins. This changes their season. I don't see them making the playoffs just due to what happened that night. Next, we have the 12 o'clock games for Sunday. One of the biggest upsets this week is the Saints going into Dallas and just straight up demolishing them at home. Derek Carr played amazing, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Dak Prescott also threw a lot of, Dak Prescott didn't play a great game. He also got sacked way more. But he did throw an extra pick up in there. And yeah, Alvin Kamara was the reason why the Saints won this game outside of the, Saints defense. 115 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns and a receiving touchdown with 65 total yards. Absolute tank, 4 touchdowns, over 150 yards. What more can you want from your, starting running back there? Rico Dowdle only had 30 yards. Zeke had 16. Dak Prescott 12 rushing. 11 for Deuce Vaughn. Basically comes down to about 60, 70 yards total rushing from the entire Dallas team. Alvin Kamara almost doubled that. So, yeah, Alvin Kamara is one of the main reasons why they won that game. Raheed Shaheed, 96 and a touchdown. Chris Olave, 81 with no touchdown. Alvin Kamara, like I said, with that receiving touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 90 for a touchdown. And Jalen Tolbert, the third-string receiver, had 82 with Luke Shoemaker, the backup tight end, getting 43. So I think that is his name Tony Ferguson? Jake Ferguson? Whatever the tight end's name is, would have put up the same or a little bit more receiving total for the Cowboys. Obviously, his absence was needed there, but, you know, they were still going to lose that game even if he does play. Saints defense, like I said, went crazy. You can check out all the stats there. I'm not going to go one by one. Tyrann Mathieu kind of had a garbage time interception there, but still, really, really big win for the Saints, and makes you think about where the Cowboys are at after this one. Next, we have the Buccaneers at Detroit with another, I wouldn't say an upset, but more of like a surprise. I knew this game was going to be close. I didn't know it was going to be this kind of low scoring. I was expecting like in the 30s. But yeah, Jared Goff ultimately lost them this game, in my opinion. You know, the two picks really just made this game not winnable almost. Baker played really good, even though he didn't really throw that many times. I mean, he threw, 36 less times than Jared Goff. So that's pretty crazy. The Buccaneers' offense wasn't really on the field that much. It was just long drives for the Lions and then those 2 turnovers. Baker led the Buccaneers in rushing, and he got a touchdown. So it's like the Buccaneers weren't really playing that great. It was just a matter of the Lions playing just really, really bad football. Jahmyr Gibbs, 84 yards. David Montgomery, 35 and a touchdown. But they still couldn't really get nothing going. Chris Godwin went off, 117 and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 42. I feel like Mike Evans is kind of finally declining as a receiver. I feel like he was very consistent for, every year that he was in the league, but this is the one year where I'm not seeing crazy production from him like I usually do. And I'm slowly seeing him move into the number 2 spot with Chris Godwin going into the 1. But they do have Jalen McMillan as that third string up-and-coming guy. But he wasn't really that much of a factor. Like I said, the Buccaneers were kind of scoring in very few plays, and then the Lions were taking these really long, slow drives. But huge win for the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield looks like he's kind of legit. And, as much as I was a fan and then I became a hater for a little bit, I'm still a Baker Mayfield fan. So I'm glad that he's actually succeeding, because I feel like he was just kind of bumping around until he finally was able to be good with the team. Because then he went to the Panthers after the Browns. Then he went to the Rams for half of the year, played a couple of games, and then he ended up going to the Buccaneers. So it's like he's just kind of going all over the place, but it looks like he's found his spot. So it's not like a complete teardown rebuild for the Buccaneers. Next, we have kind of an upset with the Colts and the Packers. Anthony Richardson played absolutely horrible. The reason why they lost this game for sure. He had 204, 3 crucial picks, just really stupid interceptions. Malik Willis played a great game managed, just perfectly. He didn't go out there and lose the game. Exactly what Anthony Richardson did is what Malik Willis thought was going to do. 122, a touchdown, only threw 14 times. Jonathan Taylor, 103, no touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 151. Malik Willis also had 41 rushing yards, which was insane. Just a big win, honestly, for the Packers. The defense held up nice. Obviously, got those picks, but overall, I just don't really see why the Colts lost this game. I feel like this was a very easy win to secure. But, I feel like a lot of people underestimated the Packers here. And that just kind of proved how kind of good their team can be, even with their main piece gone. Next, we have the Jets and the Titans. This was a closer game than it should have been. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing up to his standard, I feel like. He did play a great game, don't get me wrong. But he's missing out on tons of, big plays. Like, he's barely getting 150 passing yards a game. Will Levis played horrible. His stats don't really show that, but, the amount of unnecessary mistakes that he was making, plus that crucial fumble, was just completely unnecessary. Breece Hall didn't really play that great. Braylon Allen, the youngest player to ever score a touchdown, he got one. Pollard, 62. Tajay Spears, 6 for 20. He also left the game with an injury to his thigh, something like that. Garrett Wilson, 57. Breece Hall had a receiving touchdown. Braylon Allen also got another receiving touchdown. I did not know about that one. Calvin Ridley, 77 and a touchdown. Tony Pollard, 40, no touchdown. Where's DeAndre? 9 yards. Like, why he ever went to the Titans makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. I thought this receiving core would be a little bit better with him, Tyler Boyd, and Calvin Ridley, because those are 3 veteran guys that can help out a young, quarterback. And, he's playing bad. All 3 of these receivers are not really helping him out. Calvin Ridley did decent. He did decent. He had 2 touchdowns. But, 9 yards, dude. Targeted twice. I don't know, man. DeAndre's kind of fallen off. Next, we have the 49ers and the Vikings, which is a huge upset in my opinion. Vikings came in here and won this game. Sam Darnold, 268, 2 touchdowns and a pick. His pick almost was like it wasn't even there. Like, it didn't really affect the game that much. Brock Purdy, 319, a lot of yards. Leads the league in passing right now. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jordan Mason had a great game, a solid game, as like a perfect solid game for running back. 20 carries, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 5 yards a carry. That's like as perfect as a game that you can get as a running back. Ty Chandler, 82. Aaron Jones only had 32 yards. It seems like they're pushing Aaron Jones already into the running back 2 spot, which is kind of crazy to think. Debo had 110. George Kittle had 76. I think he left the game with an injury. I'm not sure if he came back, but he also had a touchdown. Ayuk, 43. Juwan Jennings, 37. Justin Jefferson went crazy with like a 97-yard touchdown. I thought this was 99 when I first saw it because I was watching Red Zone. But, you kind of take this one pass, though, like out of the game, and this changes everything. Like this one, if he drops that pass, this game is a complete different story. For one, he has 47 yards on 3 catches, which is still good, still really good. But I don't know if they win the game without that. So that was a big time catch. Defense played pretty solid as well, and able to contain some of these big names. But to me, this is containing the 49ers. They have a stacked team. To me, this is containing. But huge win for the Vikings and Sam Darnold. Tough loss for the 49ers here. Next, we have the Seahawks and the Patriots. This game was close. I had the Seahawks winning this game. I wasn't expecting it to be this close, though. Geno Smith played pretty decent. 1 touchdown, 327. Jacoby Brissett, 149, 1 touchdown, no picks. But the fact that Zach Charbonnet was the only one running the ball shows the Seattle running back depth. So Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet are the 1-2, and that's it. Antonio Gibson, Rondell Stevenson, they shared a combined 177 and a touchdown. So that was really solid work by them. Hunter Henry, surprisingly got 109 yards. DK got 127 with Jackson Smith having 117 as well. So mainly those three. Everyone else wasn't really a big factor in this game. But tough defense for the Seahawks to kind of close this game out. I feel like just the lack of plays from the Packers defense is what cost them this game. The offense I feel like was kind of doing their job here. Great run game. Getting the tight ends involved. The Patriots definitely are lacking in receiver depth though, so they definitely need to build that up before they start being anywhere close to being dangerous. Next we have the Giants at Washington. I did pick the Commanders to win this game, and they almost didn't win this game. This game went to Wait, did it not go to overtime? I could have swore this game went to overtime. I could have swore this game was overtime. I guess not. Daniel Jones, 178, 2 touchdowns. Didn't play crazy horrible, but he also didn't play that great. You got to get your guys involved. Jane Daniels didn't really play that great either. His stats are going to show that he played great. If you watch Jane Daniels, he looks at his wide receiver 1 on the play and then runs. He does not try to even think about passing the ball. He's going to get hurt eventually sometime this season and going to be benched because there's no way that he can survive an entire season doing that. He is literally snapping the ball, looking to see if his wide receiver 1 beat the corner because he's not going to be able to make a dime. And then if he didn't beat the corner, then he's just going to run it. That, or he's just dumping it off to his running backs. It's a very boring, slow, pathetic offense. It's really, really boring to watch. But, this boring, slow offense ultimately beat the Giants. That just shows how bad the Giants are. Devin Singletary, 95 yards and a touchdown. He played great. Brian Robinson, 133. Malik Neighbors missed a crucial ending catch, but other than that, had a great game. Wan'Dale Robinson also got a touchdown, like a red zone touchdown. Zach Ertz, led the game for the Commanders in yards. Where's Terry McLaurin? 6 catches for 22 yards. Terry McLaurin is a reason why I lost this week. One of the reasons why I lost this week. I accidentally put him in my lineup over Tank Dell. We'll get to Tank Dell in a minute. But, McLaurin has to give me 40 at least a game. 40 a game or 20 and a touchdown. I don't see how you only give McLaurin the ball 6 times in catchable situations where he can't get yards after the catch. He had 6 catches for an average of 3.7 a catch. Give Terry space. Give him a chance on a one-on-one deep ball or something. Jaden Daniels it pisses me off to watch him play quarterback. It really does. Next we have the Chargers at Carolina for probably the most boring game of Sunday. Bryce Young, 84 yards and a pick. He's not even breaking 100. He's not even breaking 100 yards. Justin Herbert left the game with an injury, but they were up so much that it didn't really matter. J.K. Dobbins, 131 and a touchdown, played great. Gus Edwards even had, they ran the ball 35 times. It's a very run-heavy offense. Chuba Hubbard, 64 yards, Miles Sanders, 20. This was a very boring, non-efficient game. How many punts did they have here? They had 7 punts. So, yeah. The only points was a 38-yard field goal. They got that close. they didn't even get in the red zone there. But or did they? That's on the 18. I think that's a red zone. They got in the red zone once. But I mean, there's nothing really to go off of here. I mean, they played the Panthers. The Panthers are the worst team in the league right now. And I mean, if anyone loses to the Panthers this season with Bryce Young under center, they don't deserve to win the game. Forgot to mention, he was also benched for Andy Dalton. So we'll see if the team is really this bad or if it's completely all Bryce Young's fault. So we're gonna keep that in mind going Sunday. Next, we have the Browns going to Jacksonville. And here's another reason why I lost my fantasy this week. Keep in mind, guys, I lost my fantasy by 4.2 points. Terry McLaurin, didn't give me a lot. Christian Kirk is why I lost this game. Keep in mind, guys, like I said, I accidentally started McLaurin over Tank Dell. Tank Dell actually did worse than McLaurin. But you know who did worse than Tank Dell? Christian Kirk. And I'll get into that in the next 30 seconds. Deshaun had a pretty decent game. He didn't turn the ball over, but didn't really do anything crazy either. Trevor Lawrence, same thing. Didn't do anything crazy. Didn't really lose them the game, but didn't really help them out either. Travis Etienne, 52 yards and a touchdown, played pretty decent. Trevor Lawrence had 2 long rushes for 45. And Jerome Ford, Dante Foreman, Pierre Strong. I'm not sure if Pierre Strong's going to be the backup or not because I believe one of these running backs is injured. But Jerome Ford, Dante Foreman had 106 yards. Pretty solid run game. Just wait till Nick Chubb comes in there. Receiving, Jerry Jeudy, the fact that he's leading their team in receiving is kind of interesting. Elijah Moore, 44. They're 3. Amari Cooper, only 11 yards. He's going to get traded sometime during this season. I'm not sure who. I think he's going to go to the Patriots. That would be an ideal spot for him to go to because he would be a 1 or 2 target. But, I mean, the Browns was not a good fit for him. He did play decent last year, but I mean, you got to give him the ball like so many times, and it's just not worth it for this particular type of offense. Brian Thomas Jr., 2 receptions for 94 yards. Gabe Davis, 3 for 43. Christian Kirk, 1 for -1 yards. He gave me, how much points did he give me? He gave me like 0.80 points or something like that. I just don't understand, dude. He gave me like 0.20. You're telling me that he couldn't even get like 30 yards? Really? But let's not put the blame fully on Christian Kirk, even though it is about 80% his fault. Trevor Lawrence was not giving him a chance. Christian Kirk actually caught a touchdown this game. He actually caught a touchdown that was called back because of an illegal screen, illegal pick, pass interference on the offense. Oh, that would have won me my game. That would have won me my fantasy. And then what does he do? Like, they just give it to someone else. Or they kick a field goal or something like that. But it's so frustrating to have my fantasy team lose because of that particular play and a couple of other plays. But big win for the Browns. I mean, Trevor Lawrence needs to step it up. I mean, he's not really taking over this game, leading his team to success. Next, we have the Raiders going to Baltimore, and ultimately, in my opinion, this is another upset of the week. The fact that the Ravens couldn't pull this win off, is just honestly very pathetic. They had a 10-point lead, I believe, with like 4 minutes left, and they lost this game. I mean, Derrick Henry had an okay game, 84 and a touchdown. Lamar, 247, a touchdown and a pick. Gardner Minshew, 276, and a touchdown and a pick. The Raiders won this game with 0 run game. 0. 27 total yards. 27 total rushing yards, and they won this game. Devontae Adams had 110 and a touchdown. Brock Bowers had 98, no touchdowns. Joby Myers had 29. Zay Flowers, 91 and a touchdown. Mark Andrews, 51, no touchdowns. Isaiah Likely, 26. Rashawn Bateman, 40. Isaiah Likely, also kind of a reason why I didn't really win my fantasy. 2 for 26. He wasn't really targeted that much, to be fair. But, I mean, I feel like if they would have got him more involved, they would have probably won this game. Isaiah Likely is a receiver / tight end. He's a perfect combination of a receiving tight end. And, you got to get a big, tall receiver, involved. And, this offense is just so unorganized. I feel like this offense doesn't work. You would think it would be a perfect running back, quarterback combo with Jackson and Henry, but it's not anything like I thought it was going to be. And defense for the Ravens obviously just fell apart, but a big win for the Raiders. Next we have the Rams at Arizona here. This game kind of went as, I kind of expected it to. 216 for Matthew Stafford, no touchdowns, no picks. Kyler Murray, 266, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The amount of injuries that the Rams they currently have right now is probably leading the league. Their 1-2 receiver is out. Basically, their whole offensive line, some defensive players are out. So this is a very broken down team very early in the season. James Conner also had a great game, 122 and a touchdown. Kyler, 59, also rushing, so he had about 310 total yards. Demarcus Robinson led the team in receiving with 50. Tutu Atwell, 48. Cooper Kupp left the game injured, and now he's on IR. Marvin Harrison Jr., 130, 2 touchdowns. Great game by him. He also had a 60-yard catch. But yeah, this was a really great game for the Cardinals. All aspects, the defensive side, shutting them down. I don't even know how many times they punted. Wow, only 4 times. That's crazy. Must have just been long drives, but I mean, they only scored 1 touchdown and, a field goal for the entire game. 2 quarters, no scoring was done. Cardinals were scoring basically 2 times per quarter. So, pretty solid game. This is basically as perfect as a game for the Cardinals. No turnovers, just perfect all around. Defense played great, and a divisional win. Next we have the Bengals going to Kansas City. I did have the Chiefs winning this game. I was not expecting it to be this close. Joe Burrow, 258, 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, 151, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Zach Moss, 34 yards. The running backs were not really a big factor for this game for Cincinnati. When Mike Gesicki's leading your team in receiving, that just kind of shows you where Jamar Chase is at. Doesn't help that T. Higgins is out, but yeah, they definitely need him back to be in that rotation. Rashee Rice, 75 yards and a touchdown. Justin Watson, 22. Backup tight end is second. Isaiah Pacheco, 90. Also is on IR. So the running back for the Chiefs is kind of up in the air. You have, Samaje Perine, Carson Steele. I think you have a rookie. No, Carson Steele's a rookie. There's another guy, and then they signed Isaiah Pacheco, who's going to slowly be brought into the rotation. I feel like Isaiah Pacheco's going to come back. Well, actually, I don't know if he's not. If the Chiefs look really bad, I think they're going to push him to come back sooner. But if they start doing good without him, which I think they will, then I don't think he's playing this rest of the year. But we'll see, especially when they add Kareem Hunt. Pretty reliable from an injury standpoint. And here's another reason why I did lose my fantasy this week. Texans and the Bears. Bears went down to Houston, and CJ Stroud did not play that great. Didn't play horrible, but didn't play that great. 260 and a touchdown. Could have been more touchdowns. Should have been more touchdowns. Caleb Williams, 2 picks, no touchdowns, 174 passing. Caleb Williams also led the team in rushing. DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert were non-factors. Cam Akers went into the game as the main guy after Joe Mixon left with an ankle injury. Damian Pierce was not active this game. Tank Dell, 3 carries for 16 yards and 1 catch for -3 yards. So he was a non-factor in the receiving department. But that's not a reason why I lost, because like I said, even if I did put him in over McLaurin, I would have lost even more of my fantasy. CJ Stroud needs to CJ Stroud needs to average 2 touchdowns a game. I don't know what this 1 touchdown crap is, but he needs to do better than that. That is unacceptable. Nico Collins, 135 a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 37, no touchdowns. And Joe Mixon had 25 before leaving the game. DJ Moore, 58. Romeo Dunze, I don't know how to say his name. He's a rookie. He had 33. But this offense is not efficient for the Bears, like I thought, and most people thought. Defense played decent for the Bears. That front 5 was really putting pressure on the Texans. They were getting sacks while just sending 4 when there was 6 blockers for the Texans. Texans also don't have a crazy great offensive line, but still, that shouldn't be happening. Defense played pretty solid for the Texans. They got 2 picks, but I don't know if anyone really had the Bears winning that game, but especially with the Texans at home. Big win for the Texans, 2-0. And here's another reason why I lost my fantasy. Eagles losing to the Falcons. Kirk Cousins played pretty decent, 241, 2 touchdowns, had a late game winning drive. Jalen Hurts didn't break 200, had a pick and a touchdown. Bijan had 14 carries for 97 yards, 7 yards a carry. Not sure why they stopped running the ball, but they won anyway. Saquon, 22 carries, 95 yards, no touchdowns. He had a touchdown that should have been ruled if Jalen Hurts puts a better ball and Saquon doesn't lose his balance. Saquon also missed a game-winning catch to seal the game, which potentially could have gave me enough points at that particular time because the person I was playing did have the Falcons kicker, so he ends up kicking a field goal after that, so that's 3 points. I would have either lost by 20 points or I would have won by 40 or something like that. Either way, probably could have won if Saquon makes that. Devontae Smith also drops another touchdown catch from Jalen Hurts with another poorly thrown ball, but catchable ball. Darnell Mooney, 88 yards and a touchdown. Drake London, 54 and a touchdown with the game-winning catch. Defense played great for the Falcons. Not sure where the defense was for the Eagles in the fourth quarter, but yeah, just little things lost them this game, and they won. The Falcons won this game without even having to run the ball as much as they should have. If they would have ran the ball more, they would have probably won this game before the fourth quarter was even, at that time. But either way, big game, big win for the Falcons. Tough, very tough loss for the Eagles at home for a very easy, manageable game. I'm not sure how they managed to choke that at the end there. Next, we have the Broncos and the Steelers. Probably the second most boring game of the week. Justin Fields, 117 and a touchdown. People are saying he played just crazy great. I'm like, you barely got 100 yards. Bo Nix had 246. He had some garbage yards as well, but 2 picks. 1 in the red zone, or actually in, I believe, first or second and goal, throws a pick in the end zone. So that 1 pick kind of changes the entirety of the game. Najee Harris, 69 yards. Rushing, Jalen Warden also had 42. Total for about 111. Bonix, once again, led the team back-to-back weeks in rushing. Javonte Williams only 17 on 11 carries. Tyler Batty 1 for 16, never touched the ball again. Jaleel McLaughlin 3 for 6. So I don't know what's up with the Broncos running backs or what's with this team, but I feel like they're just getting so behind early that they have to resort to overly passing, and the running backs can never really get in a groove. Josh Reynolds led the team back-to-back weeks in receiving with 93 today. On Sunday. Lil Jordan Humphrey had 40. Javonte Williams had 48. Colin Sutton had 1 catch for 26. And Greg Dulcich had 3 for 16. Pat Fairmouth, the tight end, had 39. George Pickens had 2 for 29. Jalen Warren had 2 for 19. Van Jefferson 2 for 14. Calvin Austin the third had 1 for 6. Darnell Washington had 1 for 5. He had 1 total catch the entire year last year. Second game, he has a touchdown already, so that's pretty great. Defense for the Broncos, I think, played pretty decent to holding the Steelers to 13 points. I wouldn't really consider that the Steelers have played really great defense. It's just a matter of we can't really do anything. Like, we don't execute plays. Like, we don't have people that can... We don't have any yards after the catch. We don't have any big runs. We don't have any crazy toe taps. Like, we don't have playmakers. We don't have elite guys on the offense. And I don't know why we continuously go after, like, free agents who have zero personality or skills, or go after guys in the draft who are for sure talents rather than taking a chance on, third, fourth round guys. Let's burn some early picks on some playmakers, rather than edge rushers. I don't even remember the last time we didn't take an edge rusher out of the first or second pick of the draft. We always add an edge rusher. It's like, can we get receivers? Can we get tight ends? Can we get linemen? Can we get something that can help this offense execute? I don't know. This is one of the first games, I think, I don't even know, maybe 4 years, where I stopped watching it at the half. I stopped watching it at the half. Once I knew that we weren't getting the ball at the half, I stopped watching it because I forgot, who ended up getting the ball first. I just stopped watching it. That's how little intrigued I was with this team. But we'll see what they do next week. But will I finish that game? Maybe. Next, we have picks of the week for week 3. My current pick total and percentage is 19 out of 32 games picked correctly, 59%. I'm back at the same spot as I was last year. I need to get this win percentage up because this is annoying. We have New England at New York for Thursday night. I do have the Jets winning that game. Let me get this here. I do have New York winning this game. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if New England comes in there and wins. With the running attack that they've been doing, I wouldn't be surprised. Next, we have a close game, I feel like, with the Browns and the 12 o'clock games. This is going to be close between the Giants and the Browns. I do have the Browns winning that game, though. I just feel like they have a little bit more of a complete team. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win this. I really wouldn't. Green Bay at Tennessee. I do have the Packers win this game. From what I've seen from Malik Willis in that offense, from them just being able to contain and game manage, I think they can win this game, especially with how bad and poor the Titans have been doing. Would I be surprised if the Titans turned around at this game? No, because it is a game that they can take over, especially with the lack of Jordan Love. There's like a 10% chance that he'll play, but I truly doubt that Jordan Love is going to play this game. We have the Texans going to Minnesota. I do have the Texans winning this game. I also am not going to be surprised if the Vikings beat the Texans. It just seems like the Vikings are always the Texans' kryptonite. The Texans always seem to lose to the Vikings no matter what. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, lose this game. But I think the Texans can pull this off. Eagles going down in New Orleans. I have the Saints winning this game. I think the Saints are on a roll right now. They have tons of momentum, and it's a home game. Eagles coming off of a tough, pathetic loss, going to an away game. I just have the Saints winning this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win, but just with the momentum and everything going on for the Saints, I just have them winning that. Chargers going to Pittsburgh. Same thing with the Saints and with Pittsburgh. Chargers had an easy win against Carolina, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-0 on a win streak, have momentum, going at home. I just don't see them losing this game. If they do, I'm not going to be crazy surprised because it is the Chargers. Technically, they are a better team, but I just have the Steelers winning that. And maybe, Justin Herbert isn't 100%. He did get banged up last week. Denver's going down to Tampa Bay. I have the Buccaneers winning that all day. No real explanation needed there. I don't see us turning the season around with this particular game if we ever do that. But, there's zero chance that the Broncos are going to win this game. Panthers are going to Las Vegas. I have the Raiders winning that. Until the Panthers show me something, I'm not picking them. The Dolphins go up to Seattle. Have the Seahawks winning that game. I don't see a reason why the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson are going to beat out Seattle. If they do, it's going to be hilarious because I really hate the Seahawks. Ravens are going to Dallas. I do have the Ravens winning this game. I think this is going to be an extremely close game. This is honestly a 50-50 game, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if either team gets blown out or if it's a really close game. But I have the Ravens winning just because I feel like they have a lot to prove. The Cowboys, they're too inconsistent right now for me to pick them. If they were a little bit more consistent in certain areas, then yes, I would have picked the Cowboys. But for me, I think the Ravens, you know what to expect, and I feel like they can pull that win off. Like I said, I would not be surprised if the Cowboys win this game. 49ers and the Rams, there should be zero reason the 49ers lose this game. If they do, I don't see them as a playoff team. This game, to me, proves that they're going to make the playoffs or not, honestly. Detroit going to Arizona. I do have the Lions winning that game, but I feel like this is going to be a really, really close game. I feel like this is going to be one of the games of the week if it goes up to par. I feel like Jared Goff needs to step it up. He played a pretty mediocre game last week, and this is going to prove where the Lions are at right here. This may also prove how good the Cardinals are. But, we'll see. Chiefs are going to Atlanta. I'm picking the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs are a better team than the Falcons. If the Falcons win, and I hope they do, but, Falcons may have something if they manage to beat the Chiefs and the Eagles. For whatever reason, the geniuses who made this schedule put 2 Monday night games 45 minutes apart. You have the Jaguars going to Buffalo for the Bills. I have the Bills winning this game just because I feel like the weather difference, plus it's a home Buffalo game, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are just not where they should be, especially when they get kind of shown up by the Browns. Then you have the Commanders going to Cincinnati to get that ass whooped. So get ready for that game. But I have the Bengals winning that all day, especially with Jaden Daniels, the way he's playing. Unless he starts, slinging it, I don't see them, being efficient on the offensive side if he's just going to tuck it and run every single play. But let's see how everything goes. This is a little bit longer of a video today, a lot of things to go over, a lot of injuries, but hopefully everyone's team wins this Sunday, unless you're a Chiefs fan. But, I'm not going to have fun Sunday like the last 3 years, 8 years. But we'll see if anything changes. Up until then, I will see y'all next Wednesday or Thursday. Hopefully Wednesday. This video is coming out a little late, but yeah, I will see y'all next time.